Blood tastes like copper and fear. I learned that tonight when Derek's fist connected with my mouth for the third time. Now I'm sitting in the emergency room at Mercy Hospital, pressing an ice pack against my swollen face while trying to remember how to breathe without my ribs screaming. The intake nurse barely looked at me when I said I fell down the stairs. She's heard it before. I saw it in her eyes. That mixture of pity and frustration that makes my stomach twist. She wrote something on my chart and told me to wait. I've been waiting 23 minutes. I know because I've been watching the clock above the reception desk, counting seconds, trying to focus on anything except the throbbing pain radiating through my entire body. My left arm is purple from wrist to elbow. Tomorrow, it'll be darker. Tomorrow, I'll need long sleeves again. The ER is chaos tonight. October rain brought accidents. Apparently, 2 ambulances arrived since I got here. Sirens wailing, paramedics shouting medical jargon I don't understand despite being a teacher. I should probably know more about anatomy. Then again, I shouldn't need to know which bones break easiest. Elena Foster. I stand too quickly. Pain explodes through my torso, and I have to grab the armrest to keep from falling. The nurse pretends not to notice. Exam room 4. Follow me. The hallway smells like antiseptic and bad coffee. We pass rooms with curtains drawn. Voices murmuring behind them. Someone is crying softly. Someone else is arguing with a doctor about insurance. Normal hospital sounds. Except none of this is normal. None of this should be happening. Exam room 4 is small and cold. The nurse takes my vitals without speaking. Blood pressure elevated. Pulse racing. Temperature normal. She writes everything down. The doctor will be in shortly. You'll need x-rays for those ribs. She leaves before I can respond. I sit on the paper-covered table, and it crinkles beneath me. The sound is too loud in the silence. I stare at my hands. My knuckles are scraped from when I tried to shield my face. It didn't work. I should call Sarah. My sister will be worried if I don't check in. We talk every few days, and she always asks the same question. Are you okay? I always lie and say yes. Tonight, the lie would be harder to sell. She'd hear it in my voice. She'd know. Lauren from work texted me earlier asking if I wanted to grab dinner tomorrow. Sweet Lauren, who brought me coffee last week when I looked tired. She doesn't know why I'm always tired. She doesn't know about the nights I spend sleeping in my car because going home feels dangerous. She tried to help once, suggested I talk to someone. I told her everything was fine. Everyone thinks everything is fine. The door opens, but it's not a doctor. It's a man in a dark suit, tall and broad-shouldered, with the kind of presence that fills a room immediately. He looks at me with eyes that are calculating and intense. Miss Foster, not a question, a statement. I don't know you. You know me now. Alessandro Torino. He sits in the single chair without asking permission. I was shot tonight. 3 rooms down from here. The man who shot me also shot you, just in a different way. What are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about. He leans forward slightly. The bruises on your face, the way you flinched when I entered, the story you told about falling downstairs. Someone is hurting you. It's none of your business. Perhaps not. But I'm making it my business. Who's your doctor? Dr. Williams. She'll be here soon. When she is, she'll tell you those ribs are cracked. She'll give you pain medication and a pamphlet about domestic violence resources. Then you'll go home to the man who did this to you, and next week, next month, he'll do it again. Only worse. I don't. He holds up a hand. Before you deny it, understand that I know what violence looks like. I've seen it, caused it, lived it. What happened to your face wasn't an accident. The certainty in his voice makes something inside me crack. I've worked so hard to keep the truth buried, even from myself. But sitting here, looking at this stranger who sees through every lie, the words come out before I can stop them. His name is Derek. We've been together for 3 years. He drinks, gets angry, and I'm convenient. The admission hangs between us like something tangible. Alessandro's expression doesn't change, but something in his eyes does. Sympathy mixed with fury. Where is he now? Home, probably passed out. He always passes out after. Alessandro pulls out his phone. Marco, I need a favor. Small thing. Can you pick up a drunk from an address I'll text you? No, nothing permanent. Just remove him from the situation temporarily. He ends the call. Problem solved, at least for tonight. You can't just. I can. I did. The question is, what do you want to do next? I don't understand. You can go home, pretend this conversation never happened, and continue living in fear. Or you can make a different choice. What kind of choice? Come with me. Let me help you disappear. Start over somewhere he can't find you. I stare at this man, this Alessandro Torino, trying to process what he's offering. He's a stranger. For all I know, he's dangerous, possibly more dangerous than Derek. But there's something about him, something that makes me want to trust him despite every instinct screaming caution. Why would you help me? Because 3 hours ago, I was lying on this hospital floor bleeding, thinking about my mother. She died when I was 14. My father beat her to death while I hid in a closet, too small, too scared to help her. He pauses, looks away briefly. I swore that night that if I ever had the power to stop someone like my father, I would. Now I do. And you're not my mother, but you could be. If nothing changes, Derek will kill you eventually. The brutal honesty of his words hits me like a physical blow because I know he's right. The violence has been escalating. Derek's rages last longer now. His control slips more often. Last month, he threw a plate at my head. It missed, but barely. I think about the nights I lie awake listening to him breathe, wondering if tonight will be the night he goes too far. I think about the resignation I've felt creeping in, the way I've started to accept that this might be how I die. No, but I'm offering you protection, a safe place, resources. Whatever you need to get away from whoever did this to you. I have a sister, Sarah. She lives in Brooklyn. She'd worry. You can contact her. Explain that you're safe. I have a job. I teach elementary school. My students need me, and you'll return to them when you're ready. I shake my head. You're talking about leaving my entire life behind. I'm talking about staying alive. The bluntness of it steals my breath because he's right. Some part of me, the part I've been ignoring for months, knows that Derek is going to kill me eventually. It's not a question of if anymore. Just when. I don't even know you. I say again, weaker this time. Alessandro reaches into the pocket of his hospital gown and pulls out a business card. He holds it out to me. You don't have to decide now. But take this. If you change your mind, if things get worse, if you just need someone to talk to, call that number. Day or night, someone will answer. I stare at the card, plain white with a phone number printed in black. No name, no business, just digits that could represent salvation or disaster. What do you want in return? Nothing. Nobody helps for nothing. I'm not nobody. He holds the card steady, waiting. I'm someone who understands what you're going through. Someone who wishes he'd had help when his mother needed it. Someone who can actually do something about monsters like the man who hurt you. I take the card. My fingers brush his, and the contact sends electricity through me. He's warm despite the hospital chill. I should get back, I say. They'll wonder where I went. Tell them you got lost looking for the bathroom. Alessandro settles back in his chair, and I can see the pain and the tightness around his eyes. Take care of yourself, Elena Foster. And remember, that number reaches me directly. Not an assistant, not a receptionist. I stand, clutching the card. Thank you. I think you're welcome. I think. Marco appears the moment I open the door like he was waiting just outside. He escorts me back to exam room 4 without speaking. The nurse finds me a few minutes later, apologetic about the wait. She doesn't notice I was gone. The x-rays show 2 cracked ribs, but nothing broken. The doctor, a tired woman in her 50s, gives me pain medication and a handout about domestic violence resources. She doesn't ask questions, just looks at me with sad, knowing eyes, and tells me to be careful. I leave the hospital at 1:30 in the morning. The rain has slowed to a drizzle. I stand under the overhang at the entrance, trying to decide if I can afford an Uber home or if I need to take the subway. My phone is nearly dead. My wallet holds $17. A black car pulls up to the curb. The window rolls down, and Marco looks out at me. Get in. I'll drive you home. I can't. You can. Torino wants to make sure you arrive safely. I'm too tired to argue. Too sore. Too broken in ways that have nothing to do with my ribs. I slide into the passenger seat and give him my address. The drive takes 15 minutes through empty city streets. Marco doesn't speak, but his presence is oddly comforting. Professional. When we reach my building, he walks me to the door. Derek isn't here, he says quietly. Won't be back until tomorrow evening at the earliest. You'll be safe tonight. How do you know that? Because we're watching him. Making sure he doesn't become a problem while you decide what you want to do. I should be scared by this, by the implications of strangers watching Derek, watching my life. But all I feel is relief. For one night, I don't have to be afraid. Thank you. The next 3 days pass in a strange kind of peace. Derek doesn't come home. His brother calls once, asking if I've seen him. I lie, say no, hang up quickly. I sleep in my own bed without fear. I eat meals without checking over my shoulder. I remember what it feels like to breathe without constantly waiting for violence. But the peace can't last forever. On the fourth day, I'm grading papers at the kitchen table when my phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Elena. Alessandro's voice. Are you safe? For now. Derek's been gone since that night. I know. We've been monitoring the situation. But he's asking questions, becoming suspicious. It won't be long before he figures out someone interfered. What happens then? He'll be angry. Dangerous. More dangerous than usual. I need you to make a choice. Tonight. Either you come with me now, or I withdraw my protection and you handle this on your own. I can't force you to save yourself, Elena. That's a choice only you can make. My hand trembles holding the phone. The thought of Derek coming home, of facing his rage when he discovers I've somehow been involved in his disappearance, terrifies me. But leaving everything I know, going with Alessandro, a man I've met once, that terrifies me too. How do I know you're not worse than Derek? You don't. But you know what Derek is capable of. Do you really think you'll survive the next time he loses control? The question hangs in the air. I think about Derek's hands around my throat last month, the way his eyes went empty and cold. I think about waking up gasping, the imprint of his fingers purple against my skin for days. I think about how close I came to not waking up at all. Where would we go? I have a place. Secure. Safe. You'll have your own space, your own choices. I won't ask anything from you except that you let me help. What about my job? My life here? Your life here is killing you. But we can arrange things so you can return when it's safe. When Derek is no longer a threat. When you're strong enough to protect yourself. I close my eyes. 3 years of my life stolen by fear. 3 years of slowly disappearing, of becoming smaller and quieter and more invisible with each passing day. I think about my students, 23 third graders who deserve a teacher who isn't broken. I think about Sarah, who calls every week asking if I'm okay and accepts my lies because she doesn't know how to help. I think about Lauren, who brings me coffee and tries to be my friend despite how I push her away. Most of all, I think about the woman I used to be before Derek. Strong, confident, full of dreams and plans for the future. She's still in there somewhere, buried under layers of fear and trauma. Maybe it's time to find her again. Okay, I whisper. Okay, what? I'll come with you. Good. Pack light. Only what you absolutely need. Be ready in 1 hour. A car will pick you up. Elena. His voice softens. You're making the right choice. I hope so. 1 hour later, I'm standing on the sidewalk outside my building with a single suitcase and a backpack. 3 years of my life reduced to 2 bags. Everything else, the furniture Derek picked out, the apartment lease in his name, the life built around his preferences and his moods, I leave behind. The black car pulls up exactly on time. Marco gets out, takes my bags, opens the door for me. The drive through Manhattan feels like traveling between worlds. Away from the cramped apartment where I spent 3 years walking on eggshells, towards something unknown but somehow less frightening than what I'm leaving behind. We stop in front of a high-rise in Upper Manhattan. The kind of building with a doorman and marble lobby and elevators that don't creak. Alessandro is waiting in the lobby, no longer wearing hospital scrubs. In a perfectly tailored suit, he looks like someone who owns the world. Or at least this part of it. Elena. He greets me with a slight smile. Welcome to your new life. The penthouse is on the 32nd floor. The elevator opens directly into it. I step out and stop. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Modern furniture. Art on the walls. So much space after years in a cramped 2-bedroom with water-stained ceilings. Guest room is down that hall. Alessandro says. Bathroom attached. Help yourself to anything you need. I don't understand. My voice sounds strange, distant. Why are you doing this? Because nobody should live in fear. He moves toward the kitchen, favoring his injured shoulder. Are you hungry? I'm not. Haven't been able to eat properly in days. But I nod anyway. Alessandro pulls out ingredients with his good hand. Makes sandwiches. Pours water. We sit at the kitchen island in silence. What about Derek? I ask finally. He's being questioned. We need to know if he'll be a problem going forward. And then Alessandro meets my eyes. That depends on you. On what you want to happen. This is your choice, Elena. It always has been. I take a shaky breath. I want to never see him again. Then you won't. It's that simple. That final. I should ask what that means. Should demand details. But exhaustion crashes over me like a wave. And suddenly I can't keep my eyes open. You should sleep, Alessandro says. We can talk more in the morning. He shows me to the guest room. King-sized bed, soft carpet, windows with curtains that actually block out light. It's the nicest room I've ever been in. When the door closes behind him, I sit on the edge of the bed and cry. Not from fear anymore, from relief. From the realization that for the first time in 3 years, I'm somewhere Derek can't reach me. I lie down fully clothed and sleep deeper than I have in months. When I wake, sunlight is streaming through gaps in the curtains. I check my phone. 9:30 in the morning, Friday. I should be at school. I find Alessandro in the kitchen making coffee. His sling is off, but he moves carefully. Feeling better? He asks. I think so. I need to call school. Tell them I won't be in. Already handled. Marco called this morning. Told them you had a family emergency. That should bother me. That he's making decisions without asking. But instead, I'm grateful. I don't think I could have managed that phone call, coming up with a believable excuse, keeping my voice steady. Thank you. I pour myself coffee, add cream. Alessandro watches me with those intense dark eyes. We need to talk about what happens next. I sit across from him at the island. He slides a newspaper toward me. Page 3. I flip to it and see Derek's picture. The headline reads, "Local man found dead in apparent overdose." I stare at the words, read them twice, 3 times. Derek is dead. Drug overdose. No foul play suspected. My hands start shaking. You killed him. I whisper. No. Alessandro's voice is calm, matter of fact. Derek killed himself. We simply ensured he had access to the means, and that when he inevitably used too much, no one would be around to save him. The coffee cup slips from my nerveless fingers, crashes to the floor. Coffee everywhere. I stare at the mess, at Alessandro, at the newspaper. Derek is dead. Really, permanently dead. He can't hurt me anymore. Can't hurt anyone anymore. But someone died because of me. Because I asked for help. You're in shock, Alessandro observes. That's normal. It will pass. How are you so calm about this? Because Derek was a monster who was going to kill you eventually. The world is better without him in it. His death wasn't murder, Elena. It was pest control. The brutality of his words should horrify me. Should make me run screaming from this place, from him. Instead, I find myself nodding. Because Alessandro is right. Derek was going to kill me. If not that night, then the next time he lost control. Or the time after that. Some part of me had already accepted that I was going to die by his hands. Now I won't. I'm free. Are you okay? Alessandro asks gently. I think so. I think I will be. Good. Because now we can focus on what comes next. What does come next? Whatever you want. I stand, step over the broken coffee cup. I don't know what I want. I've spent 3 years having my choices made for me. 3 years not being allowed to want anything. I don't even know where to start. That's all right. We'll figure it out together. Take your time. There's no rush. He starts cleaning up the coffee, picking up pieces of the broken cup. I watch him, this man who just casually arranged someone's death to protect me, now carefully cleaning my mess. Who are you really? I ask. Someone who understands what you've been through. Someone with the resources to help. Someone who believes people like Derek forfeit their right to exist when they choose to terrorize others. But specifically, who are you? What do you do? Alessandro straightens, meets my eyes. I run a family business. Import, export, real estate. Various ventures. That's not really an answer. No, it's not. He disposes of the broken cup pieces. Elena, there are things about my life, my work, that you don't need to know. At least not yet. What you need to know is that you're safe here. That I won't hurt you. That I can protect you. And that what you choose to do with your freedom is entirely up to you. I study his face, looking for deception. All I see is honesty, even if it's incomplete honesty. I don't need to know everything right now. I need to know that I'm safe. And somehow, despite the violence he's clearly capable of, I believe him. Okay, I say. For now, okay. 10 days pass in a strange kind of peace. I settle into Alessandro's penthouse like a guest who doesn't quite belong, but isn't asked to leave. He gives me space, asks nothing of me, and somehow that makes it harder to maintain emotional distance. I wake each morning to coffee already made and breakfast waiting. We eat together, mostly in silence, but it's comfortable. He works from his study, takes calls in Italian and occasionally other languages I don't recognize. I explore the penthouse, read books from his extensive library, watch the city from the floor-to-ceiling windows. Gradually, the constant tension I've carried for 3 years begins to ease from my shoulders. On the 10th day, Alessandro brings up the subject I've been dreading. You'll need to speak with someone eventually. About Derek, about what you've been through. I don't want to talk to police. You won't have to. Derek's death has been ruled accidental. Case closed. But you need to process what you've experienced. Trauma has a way of hiding, then surfacing when you least expect it. I don't need therapy. Elena. He sets down his coffee. Everyone needs therapy after what you've lived through. I have someone in mind. Dr. Chun. She specializes in trauma recovery. Complete confidentiality. She helped me work through my own demons years ago. You go to therapy. Went. For about 2 years after I took control of the family business. Necessary if I wanted to be effective rather than simply reactive. The fact that he's admitting to needing help, to being human enough to require healing, makes something in my chest loosen. Maybe therapy isn't an admission of weakness. Maybe it's just practical. Okay, I'll try it. Dr. Chin's office is in a brownstone on the Upper East Side. Warm, comfortable, with soft lighting and chairs that don't feel clinical. She's a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and an immediately calming presence. I do specifically trauma related to domestic violence and difficult life choices. She settles into her chair. Let me be clear about something. This space is confidential. What you tell me stays between us unless you're in immediate danger. Alessandro won't have access to our sessions. That surprises me. He's paying you, though. He is, but therapy doesn't work if you can't be honest. So, whatever we discuss, it's yours alone. The first session is hard. Dr. Chin asks about my relationship with Derek, and speaking it all out loud makes it more real, but she doesn't judge. Doesn't tell me I should have left sooner, or make me feel stupid for staying. She just listens and asks questions that help me understand my own patterns. By the third session, I'm talking about the choice I made regarding Derek's fate. Do you regret it? She asks. I'm relieved he's gone, but I feel guilty about that relief. Guilt and relief can coexist. They're not mutually exclusive. She leans forward slightly. Elena, you didn't cause Derek's violence. You didn't choose to be abused. You did choose to survive. That's what we're working with here. The sessions help more than I expected. Not because they make the guilt disappear, but because they give me tools to process it, to separate what I'm responsible for from what Derek chose to do. My 2 medical leave is ending, and I'm not ready to return to school. The thought of standing in front of my classroom pretending everything is normal makes anxiety spike through me. Alessandro finds me staring at my phone one morning, trying to compose a message to Principal Stevens. What's wrong? I need more time off, but I don't know how to ask. What if they say no? What if I lose my job? Then I'll support you until you find another one. He sits beside me, but I doubt they'll refuse. What if you offered to teach remotely for now? Your students still get their lessons. You have more time to heal. Would that even work? Only one way to find out. I call Principal Stevens directly. She answers on the second ring. Elena, how are you feeling? Better, but not ready to come back yet. I was wondering if there's any way I could teach my class remotely for a while. Just until I'm ready to be on campus again. Then let me see what I can arrange. Give me a day to work out logistics. She calls back the next afternoon. The school is approving remote teaching for up to 3 months. I'll conduct virtual lessons, coordinate with a substitute for in-person support, and check in weekly with the administration. Thank you, I say, throat tight with gratitude. I really appreciate this. Take care of yourself, Elena. Your students will be here when you're ready. For weeks after meeting Alessandro, I decide it's time for Sarah to visit. She's been patient, accepting my daily phone calls without demanding to see me, but I can hear the worry in her voice every time we talk. Bring her here for dinner, Alessandro suggests when I mention it. Let her see you're safe. She's going to have questions about you, about why I'm living in a penthouse in Manhattan. Tell her whatever you're comfortable with. I'll follow your lead. Sarah arrives Saturday evening wearing suspicion-like armor. She hugs me fiercely at the door, then steps back to look me over. You look different. Healthier. Less scared. Her eyes drift past me to the apartment. Jesus, Elena, where are you? Come in. I'll explain. Alessandro appears from the kitchen, wearing casual clothes that somehow still look elegant. Sarah's eyes widen. Sarah, this is Alessandro Torino. Alessandro, my sister Sarah. He extends his hand. It's nice to finally meet you. Elena talks about you often. Sarah shakes his hand slowly, clearly trying to piece together what's happening. You're the friend who helped her leave Derek. And she's staying here because my home is secure and she needs time to heal without worrying about safety. Alessandro's voice is calm, honest. I'm not asking anything from her, just offering space and protection. Over dinner, Sarah interrogates carefully. What does Alessandro do for work? How did they meet? What's the long-term plan? Alessandro answers most questions truthfully without revealing too much. He's an import-export. They met through a chance encounter. The plan is whatever Elena decides it should be. After dinner, Sarah pulls me aside while Alessandro clears dishes. Is he good to you? Yes, better than I deserve. Are you sleeping with him? No, not yet anyway, though I think about it more than I should. But you want to. My face heats. Is it that obvious? Only to someone who knows you. Sarah studies my face. I'm not judging. I just want to make sure you're safe, and this isn't some rebound thing that'll hurt you worse. It's not. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's not that. She hugs me again. Okay, I trust you. And for what it's worth, he looks at you like you matter. That's something. After Sarah leaves, Alessandro and I clean up together in comfortable silence. When the last dish is put away, he turns to me. She's protective. She has reason to be. I've made bad choices before, and now, I'm trying to make better ones. We drift to the balcony, looking out over Manhattan, lit up like stars brought to Earth. The air is cool, but not cold. Alessandro stands close enough that I can feel his warmth. Thank you, I say quietly, for everything. For saving me, for giving me space. For arranging therapy and letting Sarah visit and just being patient. You don't need to thank me. I do, though. I turn to face him. You've given me my life back. You did that yourself. I just provided resources. Alessandro, I step closer. Stop being noble for 1 second and let me be grateful. He laughs softly. All right. You're welcome. The space between us is charged. Electric. I've felt this building for weeks. During training sessions when his hands adjusted my stance at breakfast when our eyes met over coffee. Late at night when I lay in bed knowing he was just down the hall. I'm tired of pretending I don't feel it. I close the distance and kiss him for a heartbeat. He freezes. Then his control shatters, and he's kissing me back with an intensity that steals my breath. His hand cups the back of my head, fingers threading through my hair, my hands fist in his shirt, pulling him closer. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. Elena, his voice is rough. Are you sure? Because if we do this, it changes everything. I'm sure. I've been sure for weeks. You're healing. You're vulnerable. I don't want to take advantage. I kiss him again to shut him up. This time he doesn't hesitate. Lifts me easily, my legs wrapping around his waist as he carries me inside. We don't make it to a bedroom. Fall onto the couch in a tangle of limbs and desperate kisses. Clothes disappear. His hands map my body like he's memorizing territory. I explore the hard plains of his chest, the scars that tell stories he hasn't shared yet. When he enters me, it's slow and deliberate. Not rushed, not desperate, just profound in a way that makes my eyes sting. He whispers against my neck. Don't stop. He doesn't. We move together until the world narrows to just this. Just us. Just the feeling of being completely connected to another person in a way I've never experienced. After tangled together on the couch, his fingers trace patterns on my bare shoulder. I've wanted this for a while, he admits. Me too. I just didn't know if you felt the same, Elena. He tilts my face up to look at him. I haven't felt this way about anyone ever. It terrifies me. Because you matter. And in my world, things that matter become targets. Then we'll be careful. There's something you need to know. The cartel Dello. They've been pushing for access to territory I control. They're escalating. My stomach drops. Is Marco? We're fine. We weren't there. But this is war now. They want access to port operations I control. I've refused. They're trying to force my hand. What does that mean for us? It means you stay here. No going out without my approval and heavy security. I can't risk them using you against me. Part of me wants to argue. I've spent 3 years being controlled, told where I could and couldn't go. But this is different. This is protection, not possession. And the fear in his eyes is real. Okay, I agree. I'll be careful. He kisses my forehead. But careful feels like suffocating after 3 days. I'm teaching online, doing therapy via video call, and staring at the same walls until I want to scream. When Sarah texts asking if we can meet for lunch, I jump at the chance. Alessandro is in a meeting when I find Marco in the kitchen. I want to see my sister. Just for lunch, Brooklyn. That cafe she likes on Fifth Avenue. Marco's expression is carefully neutral. The boss won't approve. Then I'll go without approval. He sighs. You know I can't let you do that. So come with me. Bring whoever you need. But I'm going crazy locked in here, Marco. I need to see my sister. He studies me for a long moment, then pulls out his phone. I'll arrange it. For guards minimum. You don't leave their sight. Alessandro finds out, of course. Calls me while I'm getting ready. Marco told me about your plan. I'm sorry I didn't ask you directly, but Alessandro, I need this. I need to feel like I still have a life outside these walls. Then 4 guards. You stay in public spaces. Any sign of trouble, you leave immediately. His voice drops. If something happens to you, I won't recover from it. Do you understand? Nothing will happen. It's just lunch. The cafe in Brooklyn is exactly as I remember. Small, cozy, smelling of coffee and fresh bread. Sarah is already there when I arrive, flanked by Marco and 3 other men who position themselves strategically around the space. This is subtle, Sarah says dryly as I slide into the booth across from her. Alessandro's being cautious because of the cartel thing. She lowers her voice. I Googled him. Alessandro Torino articles about organized crime, territory disputes, violence. What are you doing with someone like that? Surviving, healing, living. I reach across the table to squeeze her hand. I know it looks bad from the outside. But he saved me, Sarah. Not just from Derek, from myself, from giving up. But at what cost? I don't know yet. But I'm choosing this. Eyes open, heart willing. She wants to argue more. I see it in her face. But the waitress arrives, and we order sandwiches. Shift to safer topics. She tells me about her job, her apartment, her latest dating disaster. I laugh for the first time in days. We're halfway through lunch when everything goes wrong. The front window explodes inward. Glass shrapnel everywhere. Someone screams. Marco is moving before I process what's happening, throwing me to the floor, his body covering mine. Gunfire. Rapid controlled bursts. I can't see anything except Marco's back. Feel his weight pressing me into the floor. Around us, shouting in Spanish. Return fire from Alessandro's men. Then Marco jerks. Goes heavy. I feel wetness spreading across my shoulder where his chest presses against me. Marco. My voice is too high. Too scared. He doesn't answer. Someone grabs my arm, hauls me up. Not Marco. A stranger with cold eyes and a gun pressed to my temple. Move and I shoot, he says in accented English. I freeze. Can't breathe. Can't think. The shooting has stopped. I see Marco on the ground bleeding. 2 other guards down. The 4th is backing away, hands raised, outgunned. Where's Sarah? I spot her under a table, phone in hand, terror on her face, but alive. Relief crashes through me. The man holding me says something in Spanish to his companions. They laugh. Then he's dragging me toward the shattered window, toward a black van, idling at the curb. I try to fight. Use techniques Alessandro taught me, but the gun at my head makes every movement a calculated risk. He shoves me into the van, and everything goes dark as someone pulls a bag over my head. The van moves. I count turns trying to maintain orientation. Left, right, straight for what feels like 10 minutes. Right again. My training with Alessandro surfaces through the panic. Observe. Remember, survive. They remove the hood in what smells like an abandoned warehouse. Concrete floor, rusted metal walls, minimal lighting, industrial area, probably Queens based on the drive time. There are 6 of them. I count, all armed, all watching me with varying degrees of interest. The leader steps forward, older, maybe 50, with a scar running from his temple to his jaw. You are Alessandro Torino's woman. Carlos Rodriguez, Cartel Dello. He circles me slowly. Your man has something I want. Port access territory. He refuses to negotiate. So now we negotiate differently. He won't give you anything because you took me. Rodriguez smiles. We'll see. One of his men sets up a camera. Rodriguez pulls me to my feet, positions me in frame. When I try to resist, someone hits me hard. My vision whites out. Blood fills my mouth. Look at the camera. Rodriguez orders. Glare into the lens with all the hatred I can summon. Rodriguez films for 30 seconds, then nods. The camera stops. Send it. Let Torino see what we have. They tie me to a chair. After that, industrial zip ties that cut into my wrists. My face throbs where I was hit. I can feel my lips swelling. Taste blood. I force myself to focus through the pain. 6 men, 2 exits I can see, 1 loading dock door, 1 regular door. Guards rotate every hour. They speak Spanish, assuming I don't understand, but I catch enough. Alessandro has 6 hours to respond to their demands. After that, they start sending pieces of me. Dr. Chin's voice echoes in my head. Techniques for managing panic. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. I do it again and again until my heart rate slows from crisis to just terrified. Time passes in a blur. I don't know how long. Could be 2 hours. Could be 5. The warehouse is cold. My body aches, but I stay focused. Stay alert. Watch for opportunities. Then I hear it. Distant. The sound of vehicles approaching fast. Rodriguez hears it, too. He's on his feet, barking orders. His men move to positions, weapons ready. The loading dock door explodes inward. I scream reflexively. Can't help it. Smoke fills the space. Gunfire erupts from every direction. I can't see anything. Can't do anything except press myself as flat as possible in the chair, trying to become small, invisible, anything to avoid the bullets flying past. The shooting is deafening. Organized chaos. Alessandro's men moving like a military unit. Rodriguez's men falling back. Outmatched. A figure emerges from the smoke. Alessandro moving with lethal precision. Weapon raised. Face a mask of cold fury I've never seen before. Our eyes meet. Relief crashes through his expression for 1 second before it hardens again. He's still in battle mode. He reaches me, cuts the zip ties with a knife, pulls me up. Are you hit? No, just bruised. Can you walk? Stay behind me. Don't look, but I do look. Bodies everywhere. Blood spreading across concrete. Rodriguez trying to crawl toward an exit. Alessandro leaves me with one of his men and crosses to Rodriguez. Puts a bullet in his head without hesitation. Execution final. Then he's back, pulling me toward the exit. Outside, 3 SUVs wait. Marco is there, bandaged but alive, directing operations. I nearly sob with relief. Alessandro pushes me into the back seat, climbs in after. The vehicle moves before the door closes. Hospital, he barks to the driver. I'm okay, I protest. You're bleeding and bruised. Hospital. The ER at Mount Sinai is controlled chaos. Alessandro's money and connections get me seen immediately, no waiting. Dr. Williams examines me professionally, asks no questions about how I acquired my injuries. Mild concussion, bruised ribs, cuts and abrasions. Nothing requiring surgery. She prescribes pain medication, observation for the head injury, and discharge in the morning. Alessandro never leaves my side. Sits in the chair beside my bed, making phone calls in low voices, organizing the response to the attack. When visiting hours end, he simply stays. No one asks him to leave. In the morning, I'm cleared to go home. The penthouse, which felt like a luxury hotel before, now feels like a fortress. Alessandro has tripled security. New guards, better surveillance, escape routes mapped and practiced. The cartel is broken, he explains over coffee. Rodriguez was their leader. With him dead and their remaining members scattered, they're no longer a threat. But there will be others. There always are. What does that mean? It means this is my world. Violence, territory, endless cycles of threat and response. He meets my eyes. It means you need to decide if you can live in it. If you want to. I think about the warehouse, the zip ties cutting into my wrists, Rodriguez's cold smile. I think about Alessandro's face when he found me, the relief and fury and something deeper. I think about the man who shot Rodriguez without hesitation, then held my hand in the hospital. I'm not going anywhere. Alessandro's expression shifts, becomes vulnerable. Elena, you don't understand what you're choosing. I understand enough. I cross the room, stand in front of him. I understand that you saved my life. That you protect what's yours. That your world is dangerous, but it's real. More real than the lie I was living with Derek. I want to be part of it. Part of this. He stands, frames my face with his hands. It changes everything. If you're mine, truly mine, you become a target. Everyone will know you matter to me. That means constant danger, constant vigilance. It means learning to live with violence as a possibility every single day. Then teach me to protect myself. Teach me to be an asset instead of a liability. Something like pride flickers across his face. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. The gym is on the second floor. Wear comfortable clothes. The next morning, I discover Alessandro's gym is better equipped than most commercial facilities. Weights, machines, mats, and a boxing ring that looks well used. He's already there when I arrive, wearing training pants and a fitted shirt that shows exactly how lethal he is, even without weapons. His shoulder is healing well, almost back to full mobility. First lesson, he says, self-defense isn't about fighting fair. It's about surviving. Forget everything you've learned about being nice. If someone attacks you, hurt them badly enough that they can't continue. Okay, show me how you throw a punch. I make a fist and swing awkwardly. He catches my wrist easily. You'll break your thumb like that. He adjusts my hand. His fingers warm against my skin. Thumb outside. Power comes from your legs and core, not your arm. Like this. He demonstrates. The movement is efficient, controlled, devastating. We spend 2 hours on basic strikes, punches, palm strikes, elbows. My muscles scream, but I don't stop. Can't stop. Every movement is reclaiming power Derek stole from me. Alessandro is patient, correcting my form repeatedly, never frustrated. When I finally land a proper strike on the training pad he's holding, his approval is genuine. Better again. By the end of the week, training becomes my favorite part of each day. Not because I'm becoming dangerous, though I am improving, but because Alessandro and I work together with an intensity that builds trust. He's teaching me to defend myself, and I'm learning to trust him to catch me when I fall. Literally, the first time he demonstrates a throw, I land hard on the mats. Sorry, he says, helping me up. You telegraphed the movement. Try again, but this time commit to it fully. I do, and he flows with the motion, controlling my fall so I land safely. We practice for hours until I can execute the basic techniques without thinking. By the third week, we're sparring. Light contact, focusing on movement and positioning rather than power. Alessandro holds back considerably, but not so much that I don't learn. When I manage to catch him off guard and actually land a solid hit to his ribs, his grin is fierce with pride. Not bad, but in a real fight, you follow up immediately. Don't admire your work. He demonstrates, moving with fluid grace, a series of strikes that would incapacitate an opponent in seconds. Your turn. Try the combination. I do, and it feels natural. Dangerous. Right. After a month of intensive training, Alessandro introduces weapons. Nothing elaborate, just basic knife defense and firearm safety. I've never held a gun before, and the weight of the pistol in my hand makes everything real in a way it hasn't been. This is a Glock 19, he explains, standing behind me at the indoor range he has built into the penthouse basement. Reliable, simple to operate, easy to conceal. Your goal isn't to be a marksman, just competent enough to hit center mass at close range. The first time I fire it, the recoil startles me. The second time, I'm ready. By the end of the session, I'm hitting the target consistently. Not perfectly, but well enough. Alessandro nods approval. You're a natural. Fast learner, good instincts. Most importantly, you're not hesitating. Hesitation gets you killed. 6 weeks after the kidnapping, Alessandro calls a family meeting. I know because 23 men start arriving at the penthouse throughout the afternoon, all of them armed, all of them treating me with polite deference that's new. Before, I was the boss's guest. Now, I'm something more, though I'm not sure what. Should I make myself scarce? I ask Alessandro as he adjusts his tie in the mirror. He's wearing a dark suit that makes him look like exactly what he is, the head of a criminal organization. You can, but you don't have to. This concerns you as much as anyone. How so? Because it's about Roberto, my cousin. He's been stealing from the family. The meeting tonight is his reckoning. I stare at him. You're talking about killing someone. Possibly. Probably. He turns from the mirror. In my world, there are consequences for betrayal. Roberto knows this. He chose to steal anyway. I think about everything Alessandro has taught me, about the codes that govern his world, about the fact that Derek died for hurting me, and Rodriguez died for threatening what Alessandro considers his. But something in me rebels against hiding anymore. I'll stay. Alessandro studies my face. You're sure? I want to understand your world if I'm living in it. He nods slowly. Then stay in the library. Watch if you need to, but don't intervene. Whatever you see, whatever you hear, it's necessary. The men continue arriving. I count 23 before I lose track. They fill the living room, standing in formation like soldiers awaiting orders. Alessandro moves among them, speaking to each briefly, his presence commanding without being loud. Marco arrives with another man in tow. This one is younger, maybe late 20s, with dark hair and features similar to Alessandro's. Family resemblance is unmistakable. Matteo. Alessandro's voice could cut glass. Thank you for joining us. What's this about? Matteo's bravado is undermined by the tremor in his voice. He knows. Whatever he did, he knows he's caught. Gentlemen, Alessandro addresses the room. 10 days ago, someone leaked information about our shipment routes to the O'Sullivan family in Boston. 3 of our trucks were intercepted. Merchandise worth $2 million was stolen. 2 of our drivers were killed. The temperature in the room drops. Every man goes still. I've spent those 10 days tracking the leak, following the money, tracing communication patterns. Alessandro pulls out a folder, tosses it onto the coffee table. Matteo, care to explain why your personal account received $50,000 from an O'Sullivan shell company the day before the attack? Matteo's face drains of color. That's not what it looks like. Then explain what it looks like. I don't have to explain anything to you. Wrong answer. I can see it in how every man in the room shifts slightly, hands moving toward weapons they haven't drawn yet. Alessandro's expression doesn't change, but something about him becomes more dangerous. You're right. You don't have to explain. The evidence speaks clearly enough. You sold out your family for $50,000 and a promise that the O'Sullivans would back your claim to leadership. You're paranoid. That money was a loan from our enemies. Return to them with our confidential information. Alessandro steps closer. You killed 2 of our men, Matteo. Anthony left behind 3 kids. Joseph had a pregnant wife. Their blood is on your hands. Those men were expendable. The room erupts, not with noise, but with motion. 23 men moving as one, drawing weapons, advancing on Matteo, who realizes too late that he's made his final mistake. Enough. Alessandro's voice cuts through the tension. The men freeze. Matteo, you're my cousin. My blood. That used to mean something. It still means I should be leading this family, not you. Your father was weak. He let sentiment cloud judgment. You're the same. My father was a monster who beat my mother to death. I am nothing like him. Alessandro's voice is ice. But you're right about one thing. I do let sentiment influence my decisions. That's why you're going to walk out of here alive. Matteo blinks, clearly not expecting reprieve. Alessandro continues. But you're never coming back. Your accounts are frozen. Your associates have been notified you're no longer family. You have 24 hours to leave New York. If I see you after that, I'll reconsider my mercy. Matteo tries to argue, to negotiate. Alessandro's expression stops him. 24 hours. Marco will escort you out. Make sure he packs. Nothing that belongs to the family leaves with him. After Marco and Matteo are gone, the other men file out slowly. Several of them approach Alessandro to voice their approval or concern about showing mercy. He accepts their input without defending his choice. When we're alone, I emerge from the library. You didn't kill him. No. Disappointed. No. Surprised. His own family expected you to. Death would have been easier. Cleaner. His voice is thoughtful. But death is permanent. Exile carries the possibility of redemption, however remote. More importantly, it shows my people that I'm not my father, that there are lines I won't cross without cause. But what if he comes back? What if he tries to take revenge? Then I'll kill him. Simple as that. He moves to the window, looking out at the city lights. Elena, what you witnessed tonight, that's who I am. What I do. I judge, I punish. I make decisions about life and death. I cross the room slowly, my heart hammering for reasons that have nothing to do with fear. Would you have really killed him if he'd drawn that weapon? Without hesitation. He's your cousin. He was my cousin. Now he's a traitor. Alessandro turns to face me. Does that scare you? It should. I stop a few feet away from him. But mostly I'm impressed by the restraint. You could have killed him. Your men expected you to. You chose mercy instead. That wasn't mercy. That was strategy. His death would have started a war with his father's side of the family. Banishment sends a message without spilling blood. It's still a choice. A harder one than violence would have been. He studies me with those dark, intense eyes. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone who would run screaming the moment they saw this side of me. I've lived with a monster for 3 years. You're not one. But I don't want to be helpless anymore. I don't want to hide in back rooms while things happen around me. What are you asking? Teach me. Self-defense. How to protect myself. I never want to feel powerless again. Alessandro is quiet for a long moment. It won't be easy. Training means pain, exhaustion, pushing past your limits. I'm tired of being fragile. Something like pride flickers across his face. We start the next day. Alessandro walks me through the structure of his organization, the hierarchy, the territories, the various business fronts, both legal and less so. He introduces me to his captains, men who initially view me with skepticism that shifts when Alessandro makes clear I have his full confidence. I learn codes, signals, how to read situations, which conversations mean conflict brewing, which mean opportunity, how money flows through legitimate channels to wash illegal earnings. The complexity is staggering. We're not good guys, Alessandro says during one lesson. But we have rules. We protect our territory and the people in it. We provide jobs, security, justice when the legal system fails. It's not perfect, but it's ours. And the violence is a last resort. Most disputes are settled through negotiation or economic pressure. But when someone breaks the code, when they threaten what's ours, yes, we respond with force. I'm not naive enough to think this makes it okay, but I understand it better now. The world Alessandro inhabits operates by different rules than the one I came from. To survive in it, to truly be his partner, I need to learn those rules. After 2 weeks of intensive education, I sit in on my first actual business meeting. 5 of Alessandro's captains discussing territory expansion into New Jersey. I say nothing, just observe, taking mental notes. But when they reach an impasse about cost distribution, I see the solution they're missing. What if you structured it as a shared investment with tiered returns based on contribution? That way, risk is distributed, but reward scales appropriately. The room goes quiet. The men exchange glances. Then one of them, an older captain named Dominic, nods slowly. That could work. They implement my suggestion. The meeting concludes successfully. Afterward, Dominic approaches me. You got a head for this, Mrs. Foster. Welcome to the family. Not yet, Mrs. Torino, but the acceptance means something. Sarah visits that weekend. I've been putting off being fully honest with her. But after everything, she deserves the truth. We sit on the balcony with wine while Alessandro gives us privacy. I need to tell you something. I start about Alessandro, about what he actually does. I know he's connected to organized crime, Elena. I'm not stupid. Do you know the extent? He's not just connected. He runs it. The Torino family territory throughout Manhattan and beyond. It's not small time. Sarah sets down her glass carefully. Are you in danger? The kidnapping proved that. But Alessandro's handling it, making things more secure. And you're okay with this? With being involved with someone like that? I love him. I say simply, I know what he is, what he does, and I'm choosing him anyway. Eyes open, Sarah. I'm not being manipulated or controlled. I'm making an informed choice. She studies my face for a long time. You look happy. Actually happy, not pretending. I haven't seen that in years. I am happy. For the first time since before Derek, maybe before that. I feel like myself, strong, capable, loved. Then I support you. She squeezes my hand. But if he ever hurts you, I'm calling the FBI personally. I laugh. 3 months after the kidnapping, I'm ready to return to teaching. Not remotely anymore. In person at PS 147 with my actual students, Alessandro arranges discreet security. 2 guards posing as school maintenance staff. Always within range, but never obvious. My classroom feels the same, but I'm different. Stronger, more present. Lauren nearly tackles me when I walk into the teacher's lounge. Elena, oh my God, I was so worried. We all were. I'm okay now. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I pushed you away. You're my friend. I wasn't going anywhere. She pulls back to look at me. You seem different. Different. A lot has changed. I'll explain over coffee sometime. I'm holding you to that. My students are excited to have me back. 23 third graders with so much energy and enthusiasm. It's overwhelming in the best way. 12 weeks after that night in the hospital, I'm sitting in Alessandro's study, watching him work through financial reports when something clicks in my brain, a pattern I've seen 3 times now in the numbers he's reviewing. Can I see that? I gesture to the spreadsheet on his laptop. He turns the screen toward me without question. I scan the columns, do mental math, and confirm what I suspected. These numbers don't add up. Look, the reported expenses for warehouse maintenance increased 30% over 6 months, but the actual maintenance records show no major work. Someone's skimming. Alessandro leans closer, studies what I'm pointing out. How did you catch that? I taught third-grade math for 3 years. You learn to spot patterns. I pull up another sheet. And it's not just one location. 3 warehouses. Same pattern, same percentage discrepancy. That's not coincidence. Show me everything you found. We spend 2 hours going through his financial records. I identify 4 separate instances of embezzlement, all small enough to go unnoticed individually, but totaling nearly $200,000 over the past year. Who oversees these accounts? Tony Benedetto, one of my financial managers. Alessandro pulls out his phone. Marco, I need you to bring Benedetto in quietly. Don't tell him why. After he hangs up, he looks at me with something I recognize as respect. You have a gift for this. For finding thieves, for seeing patterns others miss, for thinking strategically. He closes the laptop. I could use that skill if you're interested. In what exactly? Learning how the organization actually works. Not just the violence you've witnessed, but the business side. We're not all guns and intimidation. Most of what we do is logistics, finance, negotiations. The offer surprises me. You want me involved in your business. I want you to understand it, to be equipped. If something happens to me, you need to know who to trust, what's actually happening, how to protect yourself. He takes my hand. And if I'm being honest, I want your partnership. You're brilliant, Elena. That shouldn't go to waste. I think about Derek, who wanted me small and scared. About Alessandro, who's offering to share his empire. We start the next day. Alessandro walks me through the structure of his organization, the hierarchy, the territories, the various business fronts, both legal and less so. He introduces me to his captains, men who initially view me with skepticism that shifts when Alessandro makes clear I have his full confidence. I learn codes, signals, how to read situations, which conversations mean conflict brewing, which mean opportunity, how money flows through legitimate channels to wash illegal earnings. The complexity is staggering. We're not good guys, Alessandro says during one lesson. But we have rules. We protect our territory and the people in it. We provide jobs, security, justice when the legal system fails. It's not perfect, but it's ours. And the violence is a last resort. Most disputes are settled through negotiation or economic pressure. But when someone breaks the code, when they threaten what's ours, yes, we respond with force. I'm not naive enough to think this makes it okay, but I understand it better now. The world Alessandro inhabits operates by different rules than the one I came from. To survive in it, to truly be his partner, I need to learn those rules. After 2 weeks of intensive education, I sit in on my first actual business meeting. 5 of Alessandro's captains discussing territory expansion into New Jersey. I say nothing, just observe, taking mental notes. But when they reach an impasse about cost distribution, I see the solution they're missing. What if you structured it as a shared investment with tiered returns based on contribution? That way, risk is distributed, but reward scales appropriately. The room goes quiet. The men exchange glances. Then one of them, an older captain named Dominic, nods slowly. That could work. They implement my suggestion. The meeting concludes successfully. Afterward, Dominic approaches me. You got a head for this, Mrs. Foster. Welcome to the family. Not yet, Mrs. Torino, but the acceptance means something. 6 months after the hospital, Alessandro proposes. Not with grand gestures or public displays. Just the 2 of us on the balcony after dinner, looking out over the city that's become our kingdom. I've been thinking, he says, his voice careful, about what comes next. For us. I love you, Elena, more than I thought I was capable of loving anyone. And I want you to be my wife. Not just my partner in business, but in everything. The ring is perfect, elegant, but not ostentatious. A princess-cut diamond that catches the light from the city below. Yes, I whisper. Yes, of course, yes. When he slides the ring onto my finger, it feels like a claiming. A promise. A declaration to his world and anyone who might threaten it that I am his and he is mine. 8 months after the hospital, we marry. Not in a church, though Alessandro arranges for a priest to officiate. In the garden of his estate upstate, surrounded by family, both blood and chosen. The guest list is carefully curated. Alessandro's captains and their wives. Sarah and Lauren from my old life. Dr. Chun, who helped me heal. No one from Derek's world. That chapter is closed. I wear my mother's dress, altered to fit. Something old. The pearl earrings Alessandro gave me for my birthday. Something new. Sarah's bracelet, borrowed for luck. Something borrowed. The sapphire necklace that belonged to Alessandro's mother. Something blue. When I walk down the aisle, Alessandro's expression makes everything we've survived worth it. Love, pride, possession, promise. All of it written on his face for everyone to see. The ceremony is brief. We chose traditional vows with one addition. When it's my turn to speak, I look into Alessandro's dark eyes and say what's in my heart. I choose you, not because you saved me, but because you saw me when I was invisible. You gave me strength when I felt weak. You offered partnership when I expected control. I choose you every day for the rest of my life. His vows are similar about finding light in darkness, about learning that love doesn't diminish but multiplies strength. When we kiss, the world narrows to just us. Just this moment, just the promise we're making. The reception is joyful. Food, music, dancing. Marco makes a speech about loyalty that makes everyone laugh and tear up. Sarah toasts to new beginnings. Lauren pulls me aside and says she's proud of me for finding happiness. At midnight, the guests have left, and it's just Alessandro and me under stars so bright they feel close enough to touch. Dance with me, he says. We sway to music only we can hear. His arms around me feel like home, like safety, like everything I've ever wanted. 4 months ago, I whisper. I was dying slowly in that apartment with Derek. I thought I'd never escape, never be free, never find real love. And now, I'm married to the most dangerous man in Manhattan, and I've never felt safer. I pull back to look at him. You gave me my life back, Alessandro. But more than that, you gave me a life worth living. I just provided the opportunity. Then thank you for the opportunity and for everything that came after. He kisses me deep and slow and full of promise. When we break apart, he lifts me into his arms. Let's go start our honeymoon. Our suite in the barn has been transformed. Candles everywhere. Rose petals on the bed. Champagne chilling. We make love as husband and wife with an intensity that speaks to everything we've survived to reach this moment. Every touch is worship. Every kiss is promise. Every breath shared between us is choosing each other again and again. After tangled in sheets, Alessandro's fingers trace the engagement ring, now paired with a wedding band. I love you, Mrs. Torino. I love you too. I fall asleep in his arms, completely at peace. Morning comes soft and golden. I wake before Alessandro. Take a moment to just watch him sleep. This man who rules an empire with iron control looks almost vulnerable in sleep. Human mind. I think about the journey that brought me here. The hospital, the fear, the training, the kidnapping, the killing. Every moment built toward this. Toward choosing strength over fear, partnership over submission, love over safety. Alessandro's eyes open. Find mine immediately. He smiles. Good morning, wife. Good morning, husband. Ready for whatever comes next. I think about it. About the world we live in, the dangers still present, the choices I'll have to make. And I realize the answer is simple with you always. Because that's what this is, what we are. Two survivors who found each other in the darkness and chose to build something unbreakable together. It's not perfect. It's not safe, but it's ours. And I wouldn't change a single thing.